Good morning, Stampers. I'm Meg from LovenStamps, and I am excited to share a project with you on this happy Monday morning with some projects from the new catalog. So we're pulling out this guy here and flipping to page, oh gosh, 56 for the Turtle Friends bundle. So this guy here, I just got it the other day and I had to get it out right away to play with it and make some cards. So the card I'm going to show you is a super bright one, and the stamp set actually includes words for belated birthdays. Should you be a person who finds yourself, like me, sending belated birthday cards regularly, this one might be handy. But honestly, it's really cute. It has some sort of baby kinds of things. Hello, little one is great. It's really a fun stamp set for lots of possible cards. So good morning, guys. It's a big Monday. I hate Kathy and Paula and Margie and Trish and Sandy and Kelly and Kay and Sue and Carol and Sandy, Tanya. Wow. Okay. So are you guys excited for turtles? Yeah. Trish is excited, so that's good. Hey, Sharon. Okay, so I'm actually going to start off with just the turtle, and then we're going to build our card. So there are going to be a lot of things to this that in like, sort of adding on. So you could start simply and just make a very simple card with a stamp set that would be darling, or you could keep adding as you go, and including in our adding, we are going to have some of the Ombre Specialty Paper that's new. We are going to have some of the Plenty of Patterns pattern masks that are out. So we'll be doing blending brushes, we'll be doing blender Stampin' Blends markers. So lots and lots of great things for this. So, Barb just already got our set on the way. Well, you'll have a card ready to go. So, okay, should we get stamping? I'm gonna flip our camera down here and let's see, there we go. Okay, so we are going to start off here, like I said, with our turtle and doing some simple stamping, and then we're gonna do a little bit of coloring here to get him to be just what we want. So I'm gonna grab some Whisper White cardstock and our Turtle Friends guy here. I'm gonna stamp him in Granny Apple Green. I guess it could be a her. And remember, when you stamp, when you're going to be using a punch, you want to think about where you need to stamp so that you'll be able to reach the turtle to punch him out. So if I put him up here, then I wouldn't be able to reach in to punch him. So I'm going to stick this guy down here. And then I'm going to add the shell image to this, and I'm going to stamp that in Granny Apple Green too, and pop that in there. The great thing about photopolymer stamps. And then I'm gonna bring in our little birthday hat because we're gonna make this a birthday card. Like I said, belated birthday cards are kind of a thing for me. Now this punch actually has two little circles on it, which could be great circle punches if you need tiny circles or confetti or something. You can punch a lot of them. But I think they're actually there if you want to do paper piecing an eye for your turtle. So I'm gonna avoid those when I stamp my little hat here because I'm gonna have to fussy cut that. So I always use my punches upside down, flip that over and dump that out of our turtle. So I love that he is all ready to go there so simply, and that actually makes me less pained to have to fussy cut our party hat. And when I fussy cut, I generally leave a white border around stuff, so I don't worry too much about cutting super close. It just actually helps that element to kind of stand out a little bit. So, and if you notice, like the punches and the dies pretty much mostly do that too. Okay. All right, masking. Oh, I'm glad you're looking forward to the masking, Sue. That it's actually really makes this card, so you'll kind of see it to come together. All right, so we have our turtle here. I have a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock that's going to be our background. Okay, he's going to go like this. So clearly we need to do a little bit of decorating here to get our turtle up to where we'd like him to be. So I'm gonna grab some Stampin' Blends markers and add some color to him. So our, oops, wrong end. I really like to use the brush end of my Stampin' right markers. In fact, I rarely use the bullet tips unless I have something really tiny that I need to color with a lot of precision. So I'm gonna do step 1 of Stampin' Blends. If you're looking for more Stampin' Blends tutorials, I actually have a ton of them. They're one of my favorite things to use. Step 1 is always to add a layer of base color in the lighter tone. Step 2 is go back and add a darker tone where you want there to be some sort of shadows and some curvature to your image. So I'm gonna pop this along here. And that might look pretty stark, that line there. Honestly, you could leave it. There's sort of a stylistic element to that. Or you can go back, and step 3 is to color again with a lighter blend at the intersection between those two colors. And that softens that transition and makes it really easy to blend the colors together. So 1, 2, 3, I promise these guys are, Stampin' Blends are pretty simple to work with. So, all right, I'm not gonna worry too much about contouring our hat because there's so little to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just color some color on there. All right, so we're getting fancier, right? We have a little bit more like oomph here. Now the next thing I wanted to bring in is some of this Ombre Specialty Paper. And let me show you, I've used the purple on a puffin card. Let's see, I think I have it right here. Here's my purple. So I used the purple on this spiral die puffin card here on this back element. Just a little bit of sparkle and kind of a fun way to set that off. And so this actually paper comes in 4 colors. So where's my opening? Here's my opening. So I have the yellow, which is bumblebee, daffodil, kind of this blue, which I think is actually called Night of Navy in the catalog, but it really is a pretty flexible one. And then the red, which is kind of a poppy parade color. So we're gonna go with yellow here. And the layering circle dies, which come with, gosh, how many dies are in this? Good question. Okay, I'm not sure. A whole lot, and they come in all these different sizes. I'm gonna actually use a scallop because we're gonna go with sort of a fun theme to this card. So our scallop circle is gonna go under here, and I'm honestly not gonna worry too much about which direction the ombre goes, but that is going to be our turtle. So let's go ahead and stick him down so that he doesn't keep moving around on us. So I'm just gonna pop a Stampin' Dimensional on the back and pop him sort of here a little bit towards the bottom so that he has room for his party hat. And then I'm gonna pop the party hat. I'll put a mini dimensional on the back of this, which I love these little guys. If you don't have them, they're just really make it simple. You don't have to cut your larger dimensionals all the time. So, okay, so here we have our turtle in his party hat. So we are moving along, right? So next thing I want to add is a little bit of extra background interest. And so to do that, I was looking at my masks. So there are 2 sets of masks in the catalog right now. So these are the Plenty of Patterns decorative masks. There are these pretty medallions. There are this abstract sort of triangle pattern, and this little sort of, you can't really see it, there you go, continuing floral pattern. So we're gonna use the scales there. And the other thing that I can't wait to use these scales on is the mermaid stamp set. There's a treasure and pirate set. I can't remember the name of it, but I am looking forward to playing with that one too. So, all right, now instead of putting this right in the card background, I am going to add in a layer here. And I'm going to make sure that I kind of square this up with our paper here. Now, once you start working with this, you want to try not to move it. So I'm gonna keep one hand on it most of the time, which means I'm gonna open my ink pads now so that I have them ready. So I have Bumblebee, Granny Apple Green, and Bermuda Bay here, and I have my blending brushes. And blending brushes are super fabulous. When they first came out, I used them all the time, and then I kind of got distracted from them, but they are a really great way to get really pretty saturated color on your project. So I have a really specific way I like to use them. My strategy is to wipe across the surface of my pad and then to go ahead and burnish that color onto our project. And you can see how beautiful and intense that tone is, especially if you go over a few times for the same spot. Now, they pick up ink, and the ink doesn't sink into the brush. It really stays right at the surface, which means that when you first add your color, the ink all goes onto your paper. It doesn't stay in the brush. So there's not a lot of benefit to like endless, you know, circle, 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 trying to get all that color on there. If you find that the color is not getting as thick as you want, just go back and wipe across your pad for more color. Okay, all right, next color, we're gonna work down and add some granny apple green. And I'm gonna start kind of here at that transition point and work those colors together a little bit at that intersection. And then I'm gonna go branch out down from there. And you notice that I don't brush for very long, that circle motion, until I go back and add more color to my blending brush. So you'll kind of notice it when you play with these. And there's a little bit of color variation, that's okay. I kind of like the texture that goes with that. And I'm gonna take this one pretty far down. Sue said no way to mask it. You know what, because I'm doing my whole background, it's kind of hard to tape it or get a mask on there. If you wanted to, Sue, you could use a piece of masking tape to tape like an edge piece, and then you could trim your paper to size rather than starting with the finished size. So, but by the time I kind of am, you know, I don't really need to move my hand a lot. And you could line your paper up again if you needed to. It works pretty well this way too. Okay, and then lastly, I just want a little bit of the Bermuda Bay at the bottom. And you can see how beautiful these saturated colors are when you apply them with the blending brushes. You could use sponge daubers for this too, or stamping sponges, but the blending brushes, they just transfer so much ink and it's gorgeous. So, all right, ready for the big reveal? Here we go. All right, so there is our paper. And honestly, I think it looks like a piece of designer series paper, like it's printed on there. It's just so intense and so pretty. Now your mask, if you were gonna use this again, you could, you know, just go ahead and do it again. Otherwise, I just take these to the sink and just rinse it under a little running water and then set it up to dry. No soap needed, the ink will come right off. Okay. So let's take this, we're gonna put our little turtle guy back on here. Doesn't he look so much fancier now with our great big background? And then I'm gonna take this and set this on our Whisper White layer. Okay, like this. Now, one of the things that I really like to do is add a burst of contrast. So I could have picked one of these 3 colors to add a layer behind here, but honestly, I think popping in a basic black layer just really sets that apart. So we have that really stark contrast, black and white, and it's like sort of adding like a line around the edge of our panel, and that really sets off the elements, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get some things stuck down here, and then we're gonna move to the inside of our card. Oh, and one more thing for the front. So we've used our blending, Stampin' Blends markers, we've used our blending brushes, we've done some masking. We've used our cute turtle and his coordinating punch. All right, so I'm gonna pop this on here, and then I'm gonna flip this to the back side. Where's my seal? And add this layer here. And sometimes I put dimensionals on my layers, like my big card layers, but honestly, this one really does pretty well because the black and the white are so contrasty. It doesn't necessarily need that extra shadow layer that comes from adding extra dimensionals. So, okay, so I'm gonna flip and smush it from the back side. And actually it makes me think kind of while I'm back here, I'm gonna add these little hearts just for fun. So I don't know about you guys, I like to initial my cards and put a year on them sometimes. And that is just sort of a nice way to sign your card. I mean, Hallmark puts their stamp on the back, right? So sometimes I'll add an extra little image on there to just sort of decorate things. Okay, so inside of our card, I'm gonna flip this open. Now this is the thick Whisper White cardstock, which means I have a nice strong card base. When you You need to remember to score your card spines. So with a scoring tool, you can use your trimmer, you can use a simply scored tool, but you don't want to just fold it because that cardstock is super likely to crack along those lines just because the cardstock is so thick. All right, so I'm going to, oh, we didn't finish our card front yet. Okay, well, I'm gonna do this anyway. We need a greeting on the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and ink up my happy belated birthday, sorry I was slow. Okay, stamp that on there. And then I'm gonna add, I think, a couple little extra hearts here. All right, there's also, I really wanted to do the inside because I love these little turtles. So these cute little turtles here are also available to use in your cards, or the little bird which can perch on the turtle shell. Like, there's all kinds of cute and clever things you can do here. So I'm gonna ink up my little turtle here in Granny Apple Green and stamp this little turtle friend. There we go, and give him a little shell. Okay, so there's the inside of our card, but let's go back to the front because we didn't get our greeting. So I like this little greeting here that says, "You are totally loved." So I'm gonna grab a strip of basic white, and I've got this on the other side of my block here, and I'm going to pop this on. Okay, now here is the little conundrum for this. Okay, well, first of all, it's crooked. So maybe let me try it one more time and see if I can get it not quite so skewed. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so now I've got this, but here is our problem. The greeting doesn't fit on here very well without blocking some of our turtle or being overlapped or like having to be in a different place. I really want this greeting right here. Like, this is where the turtle's looking, and this is our focal point for a greeting. So this is a trick that you can use when you have a mismatched size kind of shape. You have a long, narrow, and not a long, narrow space to put your greeting. I'm gonna just go ahead and split my greeting here, and then I am going to pop it on our card like this, okay? So this really kind of solves that problem. When you have a greeting that's not shaped exactly the way you want, think about how you can split it and put it on in different ways. So, and those sort of split greetings with little dimensionals under each section are super, super trendy. So a great thing to think about. Okay, don't put it on upside down though. Doesn't really have the same effect. All right, so there's our "You Are Totally Loved." And then we have one more element we need to add this, which is these hearts on the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and ink them in my Bermuda Bay. I'm gonna make sure my block isn't inky because that would really kind of foul up the rest of my card. And I'm just gonna stamp them there in the background as just a little subtle heart there. So this is a great card with lots of bling. If you wanted to, you could even add in some of the in-color jewels, which I don't think are orderable right now because they're super duper popular. So you can appreciate them on our card and know that you'll be able to order them when they come back in stock. So usually I try not to do that to you guys, but sorry. I couldn't help it. They just looks like they were gonna be so cute on here. All right, and I always like to add 3, so I'm gonna pop one more up here. There we go. Okay, so keep the in-color jewels on your shopping list for when they come back, and in the meantime, can kind of appreciate them there, so. All right, so I hope that you guys have some fun ideas for your Turtle Friend stamp set. If it was a stamp set that you kind of flipped over in the catalog and you weren't super excited about necessarily, then I hope that you are a little bit inspired to check it out again. I do find this guy pretty cute, and I love that he has a punch that matches. So, you know, sometimes it's just quick and easy to do punch cards instead of having die cut cards all the time. And so I am kind of a big fan of how this works out. And remember that Ombre Specialty Paper. So I put the link in the video description for all of the supplies here. I think the only thing that I didn't get into that link was the in-color jewels, but the Ombre Specialty Paper, the Stampin' Blends, and the colors. If you're a color person and you like to look for, you know, color combinations that really work well together, I put the colors in that supply link too. So in the video description here, you can click through and check those out. So. All right, hope you guys have a super fabulous day and a turtly fabulous day. And I will look forward to seeing you again on Wednesday for another Maker Mornings with Meg video. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Good to see you. Happy stamping.